He immediately started bugging me about my vehicle, telling me it was a death trap. An over-involved landlord. He called me and said, I went to the bank and I got a $20. Like a solon. Let's go get you a car. And you liked her. I thought she was a good tenant. If she was a good tenant, you say thank you for being a good tenant. And a big heart causes big debt. I've helped many people in my life. It's the way I am. Sorry. It all sounds cuckoo to me. Cuckoo. Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Randy Meyerson is suing his former tenant, Alexandra Kearns, for bail money, unpaid car payments, and property damage. Order. All rise. Your Honor, this is case number 628 on the calendar in the matter of Meyerson v. Kearns. Thank you. You're welcome. Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Mr. Meyerson, do you own or rent this house? I own the house. And it has, according to you, it has 6 bedrooms, some of which you rent. That's right. When did the defendant move into one of the rooms? October 2014. When did she move out? Approximately July 2nd, 2015. According to you, and according to your complaint during the time that she was there, you loaned her a lot of money for a lot of different things. The aggregate? Oh, my God, is 5 nestings. She moved in October of 2014. Had you ever met her before she moved in? When was the first time that you advanced her any money? She was arrested for DWI on approximately May 20th. That was the first time that I'd given her any money. That was $2. May 20th of 2015. And so she was arrested for DUI and she called me from jail. She said that she needed to be bailed out. At first, I balked. I didn't want to give her any money, but she was crying, carrying on, literally begging me to get her out of there. She hated being in jail. She told me that she would give me the money back, pay it back as soon as possible. She said if I didn't help her, nobody else would. Okay. And how much was her bail? $2. Was that the first time that any money was advanced to you? Ms. Kearns. No, ma'am. When was the first time that Mr. Meyerson advanced you any money? I moved in October 2014. I was there a month, and he immediately started bugging me about my vehicle, telling me it was a death trap. I don't want you to read from anything. I want you to give that to Bird. Okay. Yes, ma'am. He immediately began bugging me about my 2004 Dodge Neon. He was telling me it was a death trap. He kept asking me if there was somebody that could buy me a car or would. I told him no. I am 29 years old. I cannot go to mommy and daddy to buy me a car. I was on my way home one day. He called me and said, I went to the bank and I got a $20. I was on a loan. Let's go get you a car. I did not ask him to do that. I was fine with my vehicle. He told me that he would include it in the $550 rent. It was all bills paid, the $350, and I would pay $400 for the insurance. Just a second. He would include it in your rent or add an amount onto your rent. Include it in the rent. A $550 and $350 would go towards the vehicle. This is after a month of me living there. I did find, is that correct? Tell me about the car. At that time in January, it's true, very true, that I told her that the car was a death trap. It was, so I told her that with my credit, I could get a car for nothing down at a very low interest rate. And I would also deduct the payment from her rent because I'm still clearing $200 a month. I'm doing fine financially. I didn't need that money. It was just, I got space. And you liked her. I thought she was a good tenant. She was paid on time. She was quiet. Well, if she was a good tenant, then you say thank you for being a good tenant. Exactly. I mean, if you're a bad tenant, you throw them out. If you're a good tenant, you renew their lease. I did not like her in that sense. I said she was a good tenant. Did you ever, between October and January, did you and Ms. Kearns ever share a meal together? No. Is that correct? Absolutely. I barely ever saw her. Is that correct? That is correct. I barely saw her. She was not home. She kept to herself when she was home. She sometimes would have a boyfriend come over for 5 days. Let's say, and I'd never see her. Okay, so that this was an act of goodwill. Absolutely. I felt sorry for her. Okay, fine. Let's deal with, then, the car first. So, you purchased a car? You purchased a car. The car was in whose name? In his name. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. And you said that she could use it. It wasn't in her name with you as a lien holder. It was in your name. Yes. So, you had a car? The car's insurance was paid. And I assume that Miss Kearns was a listed driver on your insurance. That's true. Yes. Well, Mr. Meyerson, let me tell you this. I don't know what you do for a living. And you look like and sound like a relatively intelligent man. What you've just done is substantially complicated your life, your credit, and your liability for, according to you, someone that you know for 2 months who's renting a room from you. That's true. But, Your Honor, I can explain this. What? I can explain this. What my reasoning was. I did not advance her 1 cent. I just said you complicated your life. True. But I countered what she said. Compromised your credit and increased your liability. That's true. For someone that you barely knew, never shared a meal with, knew nothing of their background, and you look like an intelligent man. I just don't understand why an intelligent person does that. I've helped many people in my life. It's the way I am. Sorry. How many other cars did you buy for people? None. But I loaned a friend $100. That's a different story. Oh, it is. Loaning a friend money. I always say you never loan somebody money with the expectation of getting it paid back. Because if you get it paid back, great. That means that they were honest and honorable. But most of the time they will find some excuse not to pay you back. And you will have lost the money and the friend. She was doing fine. Just a second. But you're here. Mr. Meyerson. She was doing fine until she's here. Until she went off on me one day in June. I want to explain that, and maybe it will make more sense to you. She paid on time. No problem. There were no problems. We had no issues. We never argued. She was quiet. She was a good tenant. However, she was a good tenant who, according to you, was paying $550 a month rent starting in October. And then you said you could now pay $200 a month rent. And $350 of what you pay, I will use towards paying back the car. That's right. So she wasn't paying back anything. That's correct. She was paying the same rent. Absolutely. It all sounds cuckoo to me. I'm just letting you know. And it sounds cuckoo to 10 million other people. It's fine. But keep going. Okay. So everything was fine. She's paying the same rent. No problem. She's paying the same rent. And all you're doing is you're kicking in $350 a month. Not out of my pocket. That's lost income. It's out of Mr. Meyerson. It's what I do. Sorry. Mr. Meyerson. You can argue with me from today until tomorrow. My friend, it sounds to a normal person, cuckoo. That's fine. It's fine. Cuckoo. Fine. Okay. What kind of work do you do? Mr. Meyerson. I'm a computer programmer. Keep going. Okay. So on June 26th, she came home. This was the first crosswords we had ever had. She came in. She was drunk. She went straight for the refrigerator. Of what year? That's 2015. She went to the refrigerator, grabbed a beer can, poked a hole in it, started sucking down the beer, and then threw it on the ground. Beer was spraying everywhere. Then she proceeded to yell at me. The only thing I could make out of it was she said, "You're always picking on me." I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. I just said, "What's wrong?" She walks over to the garbage. She starts rummaging around, finds beer bottles, and starts throwing them at me. Now, there's beer spraying everywhere. There's glass everywhere. Then she starts banging on the walls with the beer bottles. She's poking holes in the walls. I have pictures. This is ridiculous. And then, I called the police. What I'd like to see first, Mr. Meyerson, is the bail bondsman's receipt that you paid $2. You'd like to see the evidence? Yes. I'd like to see the bail bondsman's receipt that you paid $2. And that was on May 20th. This document right here, document D. Thank you. And I have a police report to back me up. Well, the bail was $3. You put 2 R's, 000 in your credit, and $1. 100 was due on the 29th. That was from somebody else. Though, I didn't pay the $1. 100, just $2. I don't know. Who did? I did. You paid the $1. 100 that was due on the 29th. Yes. Okay. Let me see the police report. Please. Here's the police report. It backs up what I said. This is the June report of the incident where she was intoxicated. Absolutely. Okay. Good. So, we have $2. Euros for bail. Explain. Did she pay you back the $2 for bail? Go. Okay. So, no. I don't want to hear the whole story. Okay. From the creation, I want to know why you didn't pay him back the $2 that you won for bail. Judge Judy continues in a moment. You obligated yourself to a total stranger to buy a car and make this fakakta arrangement with her rent? So, she not only had a roof over her head, but she had a new car and a roof over her head. I mean, that's some deal. And later today, you were having a conversation with her as a prospective client. She asked you, are you an attorney or a paralegal? And your response to her was, I am an attorney. That is not true. Real cases, real people. Judge Judy, Randy Meyerson says former tenant Alexandra Kearns owes for bail money after she was arrested for drunk driving. He is also suing for car payments and damage to his home. Okay, keep going. He told me. No, not he told you. You called him and told him you were being held. I was being held. So, you had one phone call. Yes. And you didn't call your mommy or your daddy. No. I called the attorney. You called him? No. Ma'am, who did you call? I called an attorney and he three-wayed him. And he agreed to do my PR bond for $2. I let him know that I had a debit card at my house where I lived with Randy. And I specified for Randy to take the $2. Zeros out of my account to pay the bond. Great. Okay. And instead of doing that, he paid himself. And I was not involved in that phone call. Just a second. So, you owe him the $2. Nasdwer, which you should have done if you had the debit card and you had the money right in the bank. What you do is you get out of jail and give him back the $2. Nasdwer. Yes, ma'am. So, why didn't you do that? When I asked him when I need to get it, he said, hold off. You have a lot to deal with. Get it to me when you can. Okay, now he wants the $2. Nambulasa? What else? What else? Mr. Meyerson. I've got tons. What? Just a second. You may have tons. I have no time. You have tons. I have no time. So far, she owes you $2 Vundwazanmo for her bail. Car was impounded. That would be your problem. She was arrested for DWI. I don't care. Did you see the way I just said to you at the beginning of this process? You don't know somebody. You buy a car in your name with the express intention of that person who, that stranger, having possession of the car. And then the car that's in your name gets impounded. So, what you have to do is you have to get it out of impound. That's your problem. Next time, you'll be smarter. Next, toll fees. 636. Toll fees on your car. She was driving all over the country. On your car. In your car? Absolutely. You didn't take it back. I tried. The police wouldn't help me. Police will do nothing. It's a civil matter. Sorry. Car's in your name. She was living with you. Got toll fees. Take the car. Take the keys. Call the police. Say, that's my car. I want my car. What's next? Mr. Meyerson. Toll fees were after she left. What? You should have taken them. I booted her out after she assaulted me. She took the car because, just a minute. Report it stolen. I tried. They said you can't do that. Yes, you can. They told me I could not. Well, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry that you got a stupid policeman. I'm sorry that you got a stupid policeman. Because I went to multiple police departments, I'm sorry that you got a stupid policeman. Next, car payments. I made between July of 2015 through now. I made payments of $3. She paid me a total of $1. That would be your problem. I've got nothing else to submit. Your Honor, you made an arrangement. I have nothing more to submit. Great. You made an arrangement with her that she didn't have to pay anything on the car? $550 for rent. And you would take out the $350, leaving you with $200. That was your arrangement with her. Then you had a fight. And she was drunk and disorderly. And you threw her out of the house. And as well, you should have... Well, then she couldn't pay you the $550, the $350 for the car. That's why I said in October of 2014, when she moved in, and 8 weeks later, you obligated yourself to a total stranger to buy a car. Put it in your name. Give her the ability to drive around in it, unfettered, and make this fakakta arrangement with her rent for free. So she actually paid the same rent. And she not only had a roof over her head, but she had a new car and a roof over her head. Really, that's some deal. Well, that's what happens when you act like a jerk. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2. We're done. Yeah, we are done. That woman trashed my vehicle. $8 damage. That's what I paid insurance for. She's a piece of garbage is what she is. I think he wanted to be with me. He thought if he bought me these things and did these things, that I would want to date him. And now the next case. All parties in the matter. Sharp versus Lopez. Step forward. LaTanya Sharp is suing Lucia Lopez for the return of money she paid to create a trust and for fraud. Miss Sharp, it is your claim that Miss Lopez actually scammed you out of money. She claimed to be an attorney. You turned over a trust to her that you wanted redone. You found out she was not an attorney, and you want your money back. In addition, she has papers that you claim belong to you, and those papers are the previous trust that you had that you wanted her to modify. First, do you have those papers? No. Ma'am, where are they? They are in her possession. She refused to sign a certified letter, and I have a certified letter stating that, well, If she didn't sign forth, then they wouldn't have given it to her. Judge Judy continues in a moment. You know, Ms. Lopez, I thought maybe you just made a mistake, but you're a hustler. I am not. Oh, yes, you are. Because you just said to me, I referred her to an attorney. There was a conversation prior to that. Show me. Real cases. Real people. Judge Judy, LaTanya Sharp is suing Lucia Lopez for the return of money she paid to create a trust and for fraud. Okay, if she refused to sign it, then you have to find out where they are. I did contact the mail carrier, and they said that she kept possession of the letter, and it was a binder, and she just refused to sign the document. The document. She wrote refused. Okay, how did you find her? Yes, I met Mrs. Lopez through a closed Facebook group that is set up for residents of Chino and Chino Hills. You met her online? Okay, I met her online. On Facebook. In a Facebook group? You met her online on Facebook. But anyway, did she tell you what she did for a living? I asked her what she did. She told me she did labor and HR matters. And then she also said, well, I also do wills and trusts. And you said, I said, oh, I'm actually looking to redo my living trust. And I asked her, was she an attorney or a paralegal? She told me she was an attorney. And I asked her how much it was going to be. But she said that she needed to, and this was all done in a message. In a message. Yeah, on Facebook. I'd like to see that. Yes, I specifically want to see the part where she says, I'm an attorney. Okay, well, you clearly stated to her in this exchange that you were an attorney. You want to show me something that's different from this? Absolutely. I'd like to see it. Would you show her this? Please. Now, you clearly told her you were an attorney. This ad also says attorney at law. Lucy Lopez. That's you. It's the same person. Are you, in fact, a licensed attorney? I'm not a licensed attorney. And that email that I provided shows a thread that the founder of that Facebook group created? That's advertising. I don't care. You were having a conversation with her as a prospective client. She asked you, are you an attorney or a paralegal? And your response to her was, I am an attorney. Ma'am, I also stated that Fred was the attorney, and I gave her the contact information right below. She said, I need a civil attorney. You told her you were an attorney. That is not true. Judge Judy continues in a moment. Oh, yes, you are, because you just said to me, I referred her to an attorney. And what she said in the line immediately preceding that is, I have a civil case, and I need a civil attorney. Because she asked you what you did, and you told her, can you refer me to one, and I will certainly keep you in mind for my wills and trust. And for the civil attorney, she referred you to a Fred. There was a conversation prior to that. Now, show me. It was a phone conversation. Whatever money you took from her, you took under fraudulent pretenses that you were an attorney. You owe her. How much money did you send her? $200 as a deposit. However, what I'm suing for, I don't care what you're suing for. I want to know how much you sent her. $200. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you. Judge Judy continues in a moment. I clearly stated that I was not an attorney. Mrs. Lopez. She is a scammer. She sued me for $6,000 when she gave me $200. She represents herself as an attorney. It is what it is. She's just a very colorful person that thinks she's something that she really isn't.